Hey guys, and welcome back to A&J Education YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to smash your A-level economics out of the park. So if you're thinking about economics or you're doing economics now, keep watching. Hey, so I'm very fortunate here to be joined by my colleague, Jamie. Hi,
Hey.
Jamie.
Hi, are you?
All right, you okay?
I'm good, thanks. I'm all good.
Good. So Jamie here has, to my knowledge, studied economics A-level, did PP at Oxford, which the E component is economics, and is one of our most experienced colleagues at A&J Education teaching economics. So Jamie, first things first, why should somebody consider doing A-level economics?
I think it's a really good springboard for loads of different university courses because it's a mix of like essay writing, but also kind of understanding some more like technical aspects of the way the world works. And I guess on top of that, there's a bit of maths in there too. So it's kind of a really good general subject that kind of shows you're good at everything, or you can, you've got multiple skill sets available to you. Also, I mean, I'm a bit biased, but I find it quite interesting and quite an engaging course. So if you're kind of curious about the way the world works, and you also kind of want to show off that, you can essay write, you can do theoretical and technical stuff, I think it's a subject for you.
Cool. And by the way, guys, if you're not sure about economics and you want to attend some events, just to learn more, do check out my newsletter on CV building and university admissions. It's got a ton of conferences, seminars, workshops from leading universities on various topics, including economics, all for free, all online. So something that if you're kind of trying to make your mind up or you're trying to beef up your resume will be super helpful. All right. So let's say, you are doing, let's say the person watching us right now is doing A-level economics. How do they get an A-star?
Yeah, sure. So what I find, I think loads of people don't use the specification enough. So what I would recommend, it was, how I was able to do quite well for myself, is I literally pulled up the specification one day for my exam board. And then, by the way, tip on that, make sure that you've got the right type, because some exam boards have multiple different economics courses. So make sure you're kind of like on that.
So check, it's usually a 3-4-digit code, numbers and letters, so check the exact code.
Yeah, for sure. And then what I did was, and what I realized loads of other people weren't doing, is I just made sure I created a note, at least one note, for every single point on the specification. And then you kind of have your knowledge locked in. And then once you have your knowledge locked in, then it becomes much easier to just focus on exam technique. So my biggest piece of advice is make sure you know all of your stuff first before you move on to exam technique, because if you're trying to do both at the same time, you won't do as well, mostly because some of the higher level skills when it comes to exam technique, like evaluation and things like that, require you to have such a good understanding that you can come up with extra points the exam board hasn't thought of. And I mean, the only way you can do that is if you understand the basic stuff first. So I would definitely recommend almost making your own textbook. Having what I did was I copy pasted or screenshot a bit of the specification, and I made sure underneath I addressed every bullet point, and I was like, this is all I need to know. I've cut out all the fluff that teachers insert and things like that, and now I can just focus on exam technique.
That's great. And guys, just a tip from me, and something I've used now for, this is the 10th year I've been helping students and works amazingly. I've used it for myself, is what you're seeing on the screen is, I call it the information retention curve or the forgetfulness curve. But basically, you should be aiming to do 5 cycles of notes making for whatever subject you're doing, especially for something essay writing like economics. So the first time you make the notes based on every point in the syllabus, your knowledge goes, it takes you, let's say, a month, right? And your knowledge goes from 0 to 100%. Then that knowledge very quickly starts going down, which is why you then do the second, cycle of notes. But this time, instead of maybe writing a paragraph for each point, you just write a long sentence or maybe 2 sentences. And instead of a month, it takes you a week. And this time, as you can see from the graph, you start, you retain information for longer. So yes, you start losing it, but you don't lose it as fast. And you rinse and repeat this 4, 5, 6 times, and your final revision cycle typically will take 30 minutes on the morning of your exam, and you can just write a word for each of the key points, topics, and it all comes to you, and it's all in there. So that's something that, again, probably one of the best tips that, we could give you, but works really well for our students. All right, Jamie, let's get back to the actual economics. So are all the specifications the same across exam boards?
So I would say about 70, 80 to 80% of what you study is the same across the exam boards. There are some key differences. So some exam boards might lean a bit more on the technical stuff, whereas another exam board might lean more on the, I guess, philosophical stuff, the more debatey sort of stuff. So what I would definitely do is say, you can use kind of like a general specification to get most of your stuff, but I would definitely recommend trying to find the specification for your exam board, because there's a few odd bits and bobs there. You don't want to go into an exam thinking, I've got it all locked in, and then come across something and you're like, I've never seen this before, you know. No one likes that feeling.
No.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what are some of the resources you'll recommend to someone doing revision?
For sure. So aside the specification, there's a site called Physics and Maths Tutor that actually has a list of economics papers sorted by exam board. I don't know if it has all of them on them, but it has most of the major ones. So I think most students would be fine with that. And it's got loads of past paper questions and things like that. And I think that's a really good way to just practice your general knowledge. Textbooks are also really important. I'm sure we've all had those teachers that are not the best, they're trying, but they're not the best. And if you're ever confused or have questions, normally the answer's in the textbook, or it can give you a more thorough breakdown in the way that your brain works. And then on top of that, you know, you've got like YouTube videos. Sometimes, you know, I will read something and go, what? Seems like word salad to me. I need some other way or some other explanation for it. And having someone break it down with some sort of like visual thing going along with it helped me massively. So I would say lean on the textbook, the specification, YouTube videos, and then physics and maths tutors for past paper questions.
That's great. No, totally. And guys, if you want to go beyond just the exam, there is stuff like Khan Academy, there is stuff like edx.org with free courses. I mean, they're much more advanced than the A-level, but this can give you more context into what you're doing if you're into that kind of thing. And you know, maybe if you're a bit more academically ambitious, you want to, you know, go for higher up universities, will also be a great CV point as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. Jamie, final 3 tips to people studying economics A-levels?
Yeah, for sure. So number 1, don't be scared by the amount of content you have to learn. Whenever you start a new A-level and you look at the sheer amount of things that you have to go through, don't worry, you will get through it. If it takes you a week or it takes you a month, that's okay. You know, people learn at different speeds. Tip number 2 is make sure you lock in content first. So as I was saying before, use the specification as a really good guide to know what you need to know. And then thirdly, then focus on exam technique. You know, ask your teacher to mark extra papers or extra essays you've done, and they can give you feedback on areas you're lacking in, whether it's evaluation or analysis. Yeah, so that's what I definitely say.
Great. Well, guys, listen, if after watching this, you're still not getting a star in economics, then nothing can help you, you know. But no, on a serious note, Jamie, thank you so much.
At all. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate your time. And guys, all the best with your A-level economics.